Meditation and Spiritual Life, Swami Yatishwarananda. States of superconscious realization. The joy that comes to us through sense pleasures brings to its train, brings in its train no end of misery. It's like uh, uh, if there is heat, there has to be cold. If there is light, there has to be darkness. So if there is sorrow, there has to be happiness. So if there is pleasure, there has to be misery as law of nature. At first, it may be like nectar, but later on it leads to frustration and disappointment. Gita, Bhagavad Gita 18.8. Intellectual pleasures are no doubt higher than this, but they do not give us the ultimate satisfaction or fulfillment. So, now intellectual pleasure, will it give uh, any form of misery? Um, I'm not aware. Let It's not written anything here. But yes, if we think, um, if we are attached to the intellectual pleasures, um, because of attachment, misery can come in the form of breaking of your ego or wishes or so many things. Now, when we are in meditation, that is, we are not running after misery and running away from sorrow. When we are in meditation, practicing, or when we sing the glory of the Lord in sadhana, bhajan kirtan, we feel an inner joy. Now, let's see if this joy gives us misery. But it shouldn't, because as Thakur says, cannot be categorized as uh, sugar. But then one thorn has to be removed by another thorn, and both to be removed. Chain is a chain, whether it's golden or of iron. Anyhow, let's see. This happiness is very good, but it may not last long. Yes, again, you see, when it doesn't last long, finishes, again misery comes. So but the joy that comes to the seeker in the transcendental state, where body and mind has been transcended, in such a state, of consciousness, abides with him forever. This the happiness, the joy, the happiness in that transcendental state, it remains forever. It is a real happiness of which the other forms of happiness are but shadows, semblance, you see. It's like the uh, shadow, yeah. Even if that higher spiritual experience is not complete, even if one has only reached the threshold of superconsciousness, the memory of the joy once realized lingers and forces the aspirant to struggle to reach the highest state and enjoy everlasting bliss. So it means that highest spiritual experience we might have because of mm, kripa or good karma or whatever, but then when it when that good karma or kripa, uh, when it exhausts, we again come down. um, so it means that we have not established ourselves. That requires again practice. Now, all religions have their origin in this superconscious realization, this superconscious bliss actually. So, all religions have their origin. They all want us to reach that state where we want to have that everlasting bliss. The experience of the superconscious made Jesus, a carpenter's son, the Christ, adored by millions of people. It made Muhammad, the poor camel driver, the prophet of Islam. It made Nimai Pandit, a great scholar, fond of intellectual gymnastics. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the messenger of divine love. Coming to modern times, we find Gadadhar Chattopadhyay, a poor temple priest in Calcutta, transformed by superconscious realization into Sri Ramakrishna, the prophet of harmony of all religions. Of course, these were not ordinary men. Many of us have heard of God but do not really know what that term means. Through spiritual practice, some may get glimpses of divinity, and there are others who are not satisfied with these fleeting glimpses. So, many of us have heard of God but do not really know what that term means. Yeah, we hear of God, but anyhow, through spiritual practice, some may get glimpses, and there are others who are not satisfied with these fleeting glimpses. They dive deep into themselves and discover God as the soul of all souls. Just as the soul exists in the body, so God exists in all souls, unattached but controlling all. God is both immanent and transcendent, inside and outside. The devotee assumes various relationships with the divine and enjoys supreme bliss of communion with Him. When we say that the devotee looks upon God as the master, the friend, the mother, or the beloved, it um, it should not be understood in a gross sense. Religion is, as Swami Vivekananda says, the eternal relation between the eternal soul and the eternal God. This idea is conveyed in terms of human relationships. This idea is conveyed in terms of human relationships, but it is not human, it is beyond. Now, but there are others who transcend even this state. They discover the unity of all existence in Brahman. The soul is lost in the Supreme Spirit, and so what is this transcending? Where uh, I become one with the Supreme Reality. So they discover the unity of all existence in Brahman. The soul is then lost. The individual soul is lost in the Supreme Universal Spirit, and there remains the one without a second. Sri Ramakrishna illustrates this through a beautiful parable. Once a salt doll went to measure the depth of the ocean. In the process of measuring, it itself got dissolved and became one with the ocean out of which it had originally come. One who attains to direct superconscious experience is called a rishi, seer. Everybody is a seer of a sort. One who perceives sense objects is a seer. One who perceives distant stars and planets is a seer. One who can know the thoughts of others is a seer. One who discovers the laws of thought and workings of human mind is also a seer. But as distinct from these, the word rishi is used in the case of one who has intuitively experienced the transcendental truth. Intuition is passed experiences, memories refined, reordered, and channelized. So, Rishi is a word used for them who have intuitively experienced the transcendental truth. So, words will fail to actually explain what Rishi is experiencing, because where there is nothing, where everything merges, then where is the experiencer? There is no experience, there is no experiencer. So these words are just semblance, they are indicative. So intuitively word is also indicative. It's not the intuition of worldly, in the worldly sense, where past experiences and memories. No, this is something. Okay, this power of intuition called Divya Chakshu or divine eye in the Bhagavad Gita is latent in all men.